Hello, this is going to be a tutorial on how to control your Android device from your Mac computer. It's slightly it's different than the Windows 7, but it's actually an easier process than the Windows 7. I went online, went to XDA, tried a bunch of different stuff that the guys on PCs were doing, and it just wasn't working for the Mac. And then I just figured it out on my own by accident, actually, and it actually ended up being a way easier step than the one that they described, and not so many code inputs into the terminal. Um, First thing you want to make sure that you do is that you have your Android SDK downloaded. Okay, once you download it on a Mac, it downloads to the downloads folder automatically, um, unless you allocated the browser to download elsewhere. But make sure you move that SDK kit, move it to the root of your Macintosh hard drive. The reason why you do this is just so it's easier to access and easier to get this process working until it's up and running. Once you successfully gain control of your device the first time, you probably don't need to have the SDK kit in the root anymore. You can probably move it somewhere else if you want. But let's go ahead and, oh, before we get into it, actually, make sure your phone is on debug mode. Okay, the way you find that is you hit settings, applications, development, and in development you should see USB debugging and stay awake. Okay, my Android phone is a Photon 4G running 2.3.4, so it has stay awake while charging. You want to keep that on. So while you're troubleshooting and getting this whole thing to work out, your screen doesn't keep turning off on you. It stays on and you can see what's going on. Okay, and let's get straight into it. All right, I'm gonna go open up Finder window. Now go straight into your Macintosh HD. Okay, if you're on Lion, it doesn't show you the Macintosh HD right off the bat. So I believe you have to go into Preferences and check mark the devices for it to show. That way it could show you your root hard drive. Okay, now that you have that there, you click on it, obviously. Now you go to your Android SDK. Now I labeled mine this way specifically, capital A, capital SDK. Don't know if that makes a difference. I'm still new to this, but I renamed it that anyways. Now I'm going to drop that down. I'm going to go straight into the platforms and drop that down. Now I have ADB there. Now, not sure if you need to double click ADB to get it going, but I always do anyways. Double click and I get the process going. Should have just clicked it once. I actually opened up two windows by mistake. Now I'm going to minimize that and get that out of the way. So now I'm going to go to Terminal, right click. It should already be running. I'm going to hit New Window. Now I have a new window here. Now you should be in your user home file, home directory by default. We want to go ahead and change directory to the root directory. So, and you know that you're in the user directory by seeing this little squiggly line. I forgot what it's called, forgive me. But if you're in the root directory already, you should see a / right here instead, right in this area. So now let's go ahead and press CD, which means change directory, space /, which means it'll change directory to your root. You hit enter and now you're on your root. It'll still say your username here and whatnot. So now we are good to go on that. Now let's go ahead and have your Android device plugged in. You could have plugged it in before I did that step, but just make sure you plug it in before we do our next step. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and plug mine in. Mine is in debug, charge only. There you go, got the little sound that it's plugged in. Made sure that it was on charge only. Okay, hit OK. Alright, so now my device is there and it's waiting for me to do what I need to do. Now I'm going to drag, go back to the window, Finder window that you opened, drag the ADB straight into the terminal window, and you see this pop up, or you could type it in, but the easiest way is to drag and drop into the terminal, which I think is a cool feature that the terminal can do. Now it automatically adds a space behind the ADB because that space is needed. So let's continue to type from that point. Let's go ahead and type in devices with an S. It has to be plural. And then you hit enter. Now you'll get this daemon not running, starting it now, port, whatever port you're on. Daemon started successfully, a list of devices attached, and you'll see your device there. Or if you have multiple devices, you should see it there. Alright, so right now mine is TA035, blah, 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 blah. It all depends on what your device is. I think they're all different. And now that we have that confirmed that it's recognizing the device, let's go ahead and open up the Andoirdscreencast JavaScript that you downloaded. I'll go ahead and post a link to where you could download the SDK and the Andoidscreencast and another screen capture JavaScript that I think is very useful too, and we'll get to that later on in the tutorial. But let me go ahead and click the Andoidscreencast JavaScript one time. Just click it once. It takes about 5 seconds to start, give or take, but just click it once, because if you click it or double click it, it's going to open up twice. And you don't want that. As soon as it opens up, since your device is being recognized by the ADB, you should have a success, and you should have, it should pop up within seconds. Now if it doesn't pop up, and this window, this Java console starts to go crazy saying that the ADB is not transmitting video, I'm paraphrasing, it says something to that extent. That just means you need to reboot your device and try it again, because that's happened to me a few times, and it's rebooting the device fixed the problem. Okay, now that we're on here and we see what's going on, you can size it up, size it down. The other screen capture that I'm going to show you later on, I'll show you the reason for me getting it. It's because it has crisper quality, much sharper image when you're going into it and want to take screenshots. Alright, so now that we have that window up and this is going, let's go back to the main terminal window that we had opened up earlier. Let's go ahead and type in the words shell and hit enter. Oh, nope, sorry. Forgot one major step. Let's drag the ADB again into it, the same way we did before. Now we type in shell, hit enter, and you'll see this little money symbol. That means it accepted the command. Now you type in SU and you hit enter. Now on your mobile device, you'll see the super user request. Now you have 10 seconds to click allow. So let's click allow before the 10 seconds run out. And now you have super user granted. Now you're pretty much all set, and you should be able to control your device all the way. Now, depending on the launcher that you have, you might not be able to scroll on the home screen multiple times. Like I had Go Launcher, and I had to, every time I move the home screen once with my mouse on the computer, it wouldn't let me do it a second time unless I tapped my phone screen once, then I could go back to the mouse and swipe the home screen again. It was very weird. But to bypass all that, all those issues, Launcher Pro so far for me works really well with this, as well as the Launcher 7, which is the Windows 7 emulator launcher. That works well with this as well. But the Launcher Pro I think works the best. I could keep on swiping. Now on the screen here, it doesn't look like it's responding fast, but it actually is. So I'm going to go ahead and show you on my iSight camera. I'm going to go ahead and move the screen around, and you'll see how it actually responds at the same time. Now I could drag all the way to the left and go, I don't know however many screens over, but it's pretty responsive on the actual device screen. You see I'm squiggling there, and it's pretty good. It's just that on the screencast over here, it's kind of slow, but it's actually pretty fast here, which kind of defeats the purpose because then it makes you look at the phone anyways. So that's that if you wanted to control your device, and that is about it. Thank you for watching this tutorial. This is my first tutorial, so please don't bash me too bad on it. And that's about it.